some things have changed for me lately, in case you haven't noticed. Still new to this, but we are about, what are we today? We're just a couple days short of 1 month. He's about to turn 1 month old. Once he falls asleep, I'm gonna go to my office and chat with you guys, but I wanted to share life right now. We still have the Christmas tree up. It's January, what is it? January 11th today, I think. So I am not going to show a ton of him on this channel just because I want to protect his privacy, but I did share one newborn photo that I took. I'll put it on the screen here for you guys. But this is Zion. For those of you who guessed, there was like 2 people I think who guessed correctly, so that was really fun. I am just starting to feel human. There were a lot of you who commented, take it easy. Like, I knew it was gonna be hard. I did not know it was gonna be this hard. It's like nothing else. I don't know what to compare it to. For those of you who are parents, you know. Okay, so anyway, before I go into goals and plans for 2022 and kind of chat with you guys and share just what I'm thinking it's gonna look like, some fun things that I've been brainstorming, again, now that I'm starting to feel human. I just wanted to share really quick, for those of you who are curious, what's happened the last month, specifically his birth, but I'm not gonna go into super detail, don't worry. I'm just gonna give you like the 30-second version. So, okay, I went to 41 weeks pregnant. On the dot, I went to my provider for the 41-week appointment, and they have a non-stress test that they do to check if baby's doing well. And they decided that there was just a couple of things that they weren't sure. They were like, you know what, we'd really recommend you go and get induced just to be safe. So we went directly from the hospital. Like, we had kind of ironically packed our bags, or not packed our bags, but put them in the trunk. You know, like, we won't need these, it'll be fine. And then next thing you know, we're driving directly to the hospital. And 2 days later, okay, 2 days. That was a whole thing. I'm not gonna go into details because most of you don't care, and that's totally fine. And I don't really wanna rehash everything, let's be real. But 2 days later, he was born. There was a moment where his heart rate started to decrease. Everything had seemed to be going well. We thought, oh my gosh, labor's finally starting. And then they come into the room, just this huge group of people, and they're like, your baby's heart rate is going down. I don't know. I don't want to go into details too much, you guys, but let's just leave it at they basically said it's not an emergency C-section technically, because it's not like they had to do it that moment, but they were like, we recommend a C-section. So it was like semi-emergency. They're like, we don't think that labor is going to go well at this point. Like, they tried a few things and they're like, basically his heart rate keeps not doing well. By the time you get to labor, like the intense part, we're worried about him that it would be an emergency C-section. So it was what they call a semi-emergency C-section, where the moment we made the decision, they were wheeling me out of the room, basically. I was shaking. I don't even want to talk about it right now. Like, it's upsetting to me. I was shaking incredibly hard and I was panicking. It was absolutely terrifying, but we're not going to go into detail anymore on that, I promise. But it was happy end result. Like, it could have been a lot worse. We are very blessed, and I don't mean to downplay that at all. Don't judge me, but it took me a few weeks to feel okay, to feel like myself again. There were certain things that I had not planned for that really caught me by surprise, and when anything caught me by surprise, it was super emotional. So like, I couldn't bend over and change his diapers. Not that I wanted to, but you know, just the fact that I couldn't, and that you have to get out of bed different. You have to get off of chairs differently. I have an incision about this big, because obviously a little human had to come out of it. So that was really intense, but we're gonna leave it at that. That's my short birth story. I think he's fallen asleep really good now. So we're gonna go ahead and wander over to my office and let's chat about some happier things. Well, he's still happy, don't get me wrong, but let's chat about 2022, what it's gonna look like, what the heck it's gonna look like. I just realized you can still see him right there. Okay, that's perfect, because then I can keep an eye on him. I think that should be okay. Okay, so I have my new bullet journal for 2022 that honestly, I set this up before he came. I haven't done anything since he got here, but on the first page I had written out my goals for 22 so far. And then yesterday I was sitting on the couch and I was like, you know what, let's redo the goals and then I'll compare the two and see where I line up, because I know there are some things I still want to do, but I also knew that things would shift, and I was curious what it was going to look like when he finally got here. This is like the same thing, in case you're wondering. This is just like some of my merch, which is linked down below if you're ever curious. But I'm gonna go off of what's in my phone and then kind of compare. I think the only thing that's actually changed is number goals. You okay? We might have to take a break. All right, we'll take it one at a time. If we take a break, we take a break. So I want to make SMART goals, right? Which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. But there are some cases where I actually feel like a SMART goal isn't a good fit for me, and I need to have more grace because of life being different, and I need to make them more relaxed and more relaxed. Yeah, tell me about it. You're just awake and happy, right? Before I forget, I have Penny right here judging me. Let's see if I can show you. Sweet Penny here in the corner. Maybe before I get into it, I should share that she is doing really good with baby. She was super scared of him when he came home, especially when he cried. She was like, why did you bring this noise machine home? But now she's adjusted. She watches over him-ish. Okay, we're gonna grab him and hang out. Hi. Uh-oh, you got a diaper issue? Do you? Oh, I see. Okay, we'll be back in 1 minute. Okay. You doing better? Oh my gosh. Not advertising anything. Just gotta do what we gotta do. We're kind of trying all kinds of things right now for feeding. Let's just put it that way. If you know, you know. Okay, what was I saying, Zion? Oh yeah, okay. We have, first goal is one that I actually had last year, and I'm thinking to make a video about this. So if you're curious, let me know, which is to make $50,000 income in a year. And so I'm thinking about doing a video on that soon. Sorry if you can hear the chair squeaking. It is what it is. We need some rocking here. So I could definitely do a video where I break that down. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. I think that would be fun to talk about, but at the same time, I don't want to talk about it too much because every indie author is going to look so different. It's not just book income, and everybody has, you know, a different number of books in different genres that published in a different way. So it's really like, I don't want to start comparison. That video I will only do if you guys think it'll be helpful. Let me know if you'd be interested in that video, basically, because that's like a whole separate thing. But I'm setting that goal again for this year, and again, it's a SMART goal, so I'm making it not just that dollar amount for the year, but then I broke it down to it's a little over $4,000 a month, or roughly $1,000 a week. Now, depending on where you live in the world, this might seem like a lot of money, or it might seem like nothing at all. Everybody's so different, but that is my first goal for this year. How you doing? We're doing so good. Do we need to pause to burp? Let's bring him out of the shot for a minute. My second goal is a little tougher because this one is not as much a SMART goal as it used to be. I actually had this broken down into like 3 really specific goals, but I decided to make it a little more general. So, okay, without further ado, goal number 2 is draft a full book and begin edits. So, I'm not being specific on which book. That's because I have options, and I honestly don't know if I can do them all. Let me back up. We have, of course, you guys saw Jezebel's story came out, The Secret Gift, in, oh my gosh, what month was it? September of last year. And as I was publishing that, I know if you've been around, you heard me talk about how I realized she has at least a book 2 and probably a book 3. So she's gonna have her own little kind of mini series in the same world as The Stolen Kingdom. So it's a different series, same world. So there's those 2. But then I also have Invisible Souls, which, in case you haven't heard me talk about that before, I started that in 2020, and I wrote pieces of it. Like, I've never done that before, since my very first book maybe. And I just wrote little pieces. They would come to me and I'd be like, I can see this scene and I can see this moment, and then I would stop, which is not good. It's not helpful for writing a book and actually finishing the book. Like, if you want to finish a book, you need to write it as consecutively as possible. Just being real with you guys, because that will help you remember it. And especially for someone like me who has a terrible memory, and I would forget what I wrote before and what is this story even, and then there's like the laziness factor where I just wouldn't make time for it, or not laziness, but I just didn't have time for it. I had other priorities. So let me stop rambling because we're busy today and I need a nap after this. The short version is Invisible Souls I've written probably 3 different times, and I kind of want to come back to it, but again, this goal is just 1 book and just drafting a full story and hopefully beginning edits, because I don't know if Invisible Soul is quite on brand for me. So you guys know that I've been sticking to this kind of princesses and castles, and specifically retellings. Invisible Souls is not actually any of those things. I'm kind of having a bit of a, I don't know, what would you call it, Zion? Questioning my life? No, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, Invisible Souls just isn't quite on brand, and so do I make it more on brand? Do I brainstorm? Could it be a retelling? I'll have to look into that. Long story short, I don't know which book anymore, so I decided to take the pressure off. I don't need that anxiety. This is a lot, and I just don't have time to go around being anxious about deadlines and stuff. So actually, that's another thing that I wanted to share with you guys, is that I'm not setting any publishing goals because I don't want that stress right now. So it was really good for a season. I think it was really valuable to me to put really hard goals on myself for the first few years. But at this point, I cannot handle that. I need to step back. I kind of want to almost go more trad pub while still obviously being very much self-publishing, but I want to approach things with a more traditional publishing style. I guess more with a timeline specifically, maybe marketing too, but specifically timelines. So that's another video I want to do, is why I want to continue self-publishing, and I actually don't want to do traditional publishing anymore. Like, I considered it for a bit and I'm like, no, it's not for me. But that said, I still want to do some things similar to trad pub, like the timelines. So for example, I don't think I will ever set a pre-order until the book is basically done, at least not for a while. Like, I need to figure out the books first and have no pressure and no deadlines and figure out my new speed, because honestly, things change. You can't feel bad about it if you're not able to do things at the same speed that you used to be able to. And I'm talking to myself when I say that. I'm saying you, but I mean me as well, because it's really hard not to feel that pressure. But I think during different seasons of life, we're capable of different things, and accepting that makes it so much easier. Just being okay with it is going to make this whole season so much more happy and not stressful. Are you almost done? Should I put you down and come back? We're gonna do this. This might be my new style, to do videos in pieces. It's not bad, actually. I don't mind it. But we keep having to take little pause breaks, don't we, buddy? Yes, we do. And you're such a good boy. He's wide awake right now. So this next one, I'm gonna keep this goal short and sweet, but it is that I maybe, yes, maybe want to publish a nonfiction book. Yeah, I shouldn't say publish, but work on and get ready to publish, I guess, because I do actually have a full draft and I've edited it a few times, this nonfiction book. So this project's way more advanced than anything else I have right now, but I'm not excited about it. It's just, nonfiction is just not as exciting as storytelling. Let's be real. This year, I don't know if I want to say like I have a word of the year, because I haven't thought about it actually, but if I did in this moment, I'm gonna say it's grace, and having grace for myself and not being upset if things don't happen the way that I want them to be. This project, I was doing it for a different reason, for a course. All of that is going to come out pretty soon, I think, finally, maybe in the next month or two. So I'll share more about that when the time is right. But basically, this is a goal that I'm doing the opposite of SMART goals. Don't judge me. I think it's just, that's the season that I'm in right now. You're doing so good. Should we keep going? My next goal is to do with YouTube. So I pulled up my YouTube channel here. I am at 26,000. Hi. So I pulled up my YouTube channel right here, as you can see. Yes. And I can't remember where exactly I heard this before, but I heard that sometimes a good way to look at a YouTube channel is like it has seasons, and I'm definitely in a new season. It's almost like you think of it like a TV show where you're in a new season. What is happening right now? You're so cute. Okay, I am obviously in a very, very new season, so I thought, what better time than to just be open to change and try new things. And so my hubby and I have talked a lot about this YouTube channel. He's really excited about it. He wants me to keep going. There were a few moments during his first few weeks where I'm like, I think I'm out. This is not, how is this possible? I can't work. I can't do anything. I can't even function. We're in a better place now. But it was really something I had to think about hard, like how am I gonna keep going? So Mosin recommended, he's really been encouraging me to consider maybe hiring a video editor, but that's something I really love to do at the moment. I love editing my videos. It's part of the storytelling process. So anyway, what I do know, my goal for YouTube was to do a video a week and to experiment with more storytelling style, and maybe consider hiring an editor, but generally be open to changing my style and just seeing what comes up for this new season. That might not sound like a big goal, but it's almost a goal to back off, because it's taking the pressure off me where I used to make multiple videos in a week and I would try to batch film things. So I would try to do 2, 3, sometimes even 4 videos in a week, and then I'd work on editing them throughout the week so that I'd have either more videos or some videos for my Patreon page, or videos that were early access for my Patreon page. And at this point, before my maternity leave started, I changed that particular tier on Patreon, the video club, to being more of a video library for those exclusive videos. So I have dozens, I think at least 40 plus videos on there, and I will link Patreon below in case you want to check those out. those aren't going anywhere. But what I realized pretty much the moment he came into this world was that I cannot continue at that level. I don't have it in me to make more than one video a week. So the extra exclusive videos, I think I'm gonna leave that as a library and let that just be this nice, wonderful library of stuff where I talk about BookBub and how much I make from my book specifically, how much I make from YouTube, writing goals, how I market, how I plan out different ads and things like that. So there's a lot of good stuff on there. I'm just not going to keep adding to it at this moment in time. Like this season of life, that's too much for me. And then the other thing that's too much for me is doing early access. So I had this on the back burner. I knew that I needed to figure it out after he was born. Could I keep doing early access, or was that going to be too much? At this point, early access is just crazy, right? Crazy. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's way too much. That's just putting pressure on me to feel bad if and when I can't do a video. Because I have a feeling there's going to be times where I can't, especially as I'm still technically on maternity leave and I'm just doing videos for fun. Yeah. So anyway, that's why that goal is sort of taking away actually from what the goal used to be. It's just one video a week, blah, blah, and no pressure to do anything beyond that. Should we pause again and just, yeah, okay. I think we're almost done. There's just a couple left. So here's where things started to change with my next goal, which I think is number 5, less social media. Now, I hope that this will free somebody else as much as it's freeing me. There's a time and a place to grow on social media and to sell on social media, and also just to be social on social media. Like there's those 3 reasons, right? There's a lot of value to that, especially as an author. Like we're supposed to be online, we're supposed to have this place where we can organically sell books, tell our readers what's going on, and just share fun things, right? Otherwise, where would we have a platform to share it? Well, newsletters, which I want to get more intentional about as well. And maybe I should put that on here. Okay, tangent. I've always pretty much done a newsletter a month. I just think I want to bring more value there and start thinking of fun ways to spruce that up and make that a really, really more exciting place. And honestly, if I'm on social media less, then the things that I was sharing on social media will probably be in the newsletter, so it'll naturally become more exciting. But anyway, back to goal number 5. You're okay. I don't want to put a requirement to be on here anymore if I can't do it. I want it to be a fun thing, okay? And I want it to be valuable still. I still want to have that organic interaction with you guys where I have a place to show up and share things, but I am not wanting to do it for the number side. So a lot of the goals that I had in this guy, which I brought with me out here, were like get to this number on Instagram, get to this number on YouTube, and then Patreon, and then actually TikTok, because I was really enjoying setting up a TikTok, and I could do a video about that if you guys are interested in the things that I was learning so far. But as far as actually caring about growing, that's just not my thing. For certain seasons of life for indie authors, growing is important, and I think that selling and learning how to be a good salesperson, like we talked about in our book that we released last year, is really, really valuable to learn how to do that on social media. But here's the freeing part. I also know that while I've gotten tons of sales through organic, just telling you guys about them and being excited and having fun, taking pretty pictures and videos and all that kind of stuff, I've actually sold 10 times more books through other things like advertising, specifically through BookBub actually, and that kind of advertising, newsletter ads, than through organic sales. So here's the freeing part again. I know for a fact that you don't have to do organic sales. It's fun and it's free, and I love social media. So like I didn't have any downsides before, except that maybe I spent too much time on there. But now the downside is I don't have the time to spend too much time on there. And social media does take time. I am just freeing myself from that pressure and that expectation that I have to be on social media. Yeah. Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying. Bless you. Bless you. It's fine. I don't have to be on social media. I don't have to sell books there. It's this mindset shift of my book sales don't have to come from there. I am not going to, my career as an indie author is not going to die if I'm not on social media, because I think that's in the back of our minds. I don't know if you feel that way. Let me know. That's not to say that social media is not good, because again, it's free to do organic marketing. And if you're good at it, you can absolutely sell books on there, but it is a lot of work. So it's going to be if I'm able, but no pressure. That was a long explanation for the goal being less social media. But I put in here, stop caring about the numbers. Only numbers that matter are sales numbers. That leads really nicely into my next goal, which actually was in here as well. Run a BookBub sale on the Stolen Kingdom at some point in 2022. Again, this is one of my favorite ways to reach new readers and was super effective for me. I've done it a few times, and I should elaborate that I don't just mean a BookBub only sale, but I mean BookBub type sales. So really what I want to do is run either a 99-cent sale or a free sale depending on where I'm at. Gotta look at the numbers, and then I basically submit that sale to BookBub for them to tell their subscriber list, their newsletter list. And then I also submit to a bunch of other newsletter platforms. You know what I'm trying to say? Like Bargain Booksy or something Fussy Librarian, ENT, something Reader Today. I don't know. There's like a whole list out there if you want to look up promo and deal site list for book advertising. But basically what you do is when you have a sale, you pair that with these different newsletters that specifically cater to readers that will tell the readers there's a sale going on. This is my favorite way to promote. I talk about it on Patreon. I have videos about this, so I will link again Patreon below. That's in the video club specifically. But again, I want to do a BookBub sale at some point because I know that's how I reach new readers. And I found that like I have sold thousands of books through organic marketing, but I've sold way more than that through BookBubs and promo and deal sites basically. Oh my gosh, my hair is crazy. I did not notice that, but that's just the perfect look for this video. All right, so let's finish up so I can go take a nap. The next goal is that I still want to keep reading. I think reading is really, really valuable. As an author, it helps us grow more than anything else, maybe besides writing. Writing itself is pretty helpful, but actually reading and ingesting good writing makes us better writers. And I feel like the fact that I've read so much has helped my writing enormously, and I see that all the time. So just like last year, I want to read 50 books. And if you're on Goodreads and you want to be friends on Goodreads, I will link that below as well, because last year I did the Goodreads challenge for 50 books and I just barely made it. I actually did this funny like reader vlogmas thing over on Instagram and on TikTok, more on TikTok at the end, where I was waiting for him to come. So I decided to do this challenge where I was like, can I reach my 50 books in 2020 goal before he comes? And spoiler, I actually made it, which I did not expect, but he was a week late. So this is not sponsored, but I actually got the Scribd app here. Oh my gosh, it's not going to show you. Only read a couple books so far on here. There we go. I should have asked them to sponsor it because I'm really enjoying it, but I got the free 1-month trial for Scribd, and I have so far just read, this is a reread of the Akatar series, so this is book 3. I really get frustrated with the fact that this series is called YA because it's so not, and I get frustrated with the writing style, but the characters are good. So it's funny how, again, you learn things from books. Like the thing that I'm learning from this book is like, even if you are super frustrated with aspects of the story, an author can keep you hooked with good characters and with exciting plot twists that you have to know what happens. And technically this is a reread. I remember most of what happens, but there's a lot that I didn't remember. And then this one, Dear Writer, You Need to Quit, is actually about a bunch of different things that writers need to quit doing, such as quit accepting the premise, which is saying, for example, you can't edit a blank page. She's like, actually, don't just accept that premise. You actually could. You could be editing in your head. And for some writers, not all writers, but some writers, this advice is actually really hard and it messes us up. Well, us, I don't know, maybe me sometimes, where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to get crap on the page first and then edit it. But that's not actually the case. Some people don't work well that way. And she was saying, this is again my summary, it might be good to challenge the premise and actually say, is this actually the case? Or maybe I can edit in my head and I can think of some fun ways to say it before I ever type it out. That's just an example. I'm about halfway through, so I haven't got that far yet, but I also really like the chapter that I'm on right now, which is quit focusing on your weaknesses, because it kind of relates to what I just said, where you might think, oh my gosh, I have to be good at everything as a writer, but actually, instead of focusing on the things that you do wrong and being like, oh, I have to get this better, I have to get everything perfect, perfect. Actually, we all have our strengths, and there's people who are going to really enjoy reading those strengths. And so if you can actually focus on your strengths, like say writing really good characters or really exciting world or something like that, you could end up having this amazing book even with the weaknesses. So don't focus on your weaknesses. Yeah, the hiccups. Honestly, right now I'm just excited to get back into videos first because it's like a more compact version of storytelling, and I miss creating and I miss storytelling, and I miss the happier side of work. Like, not everything. I don't miss emails at all. I probably never will. And for the moms out there who are wondering this and want to know like the more baby side of things, he is sleeping pretty well through the night. Like, he gets up obviously to eat a couple times, but he sleeps really good. We were able to switch his nights and days. It's getting better every day, and I feel like if you have enough sleep, it changes everything. Even though I have crazy hair, I have my sanity back and I feel so much better. I'm excited to keep hanging out. No promises on when the next video is going to be because I'm going to just see how long this one takes me to edit. It might take weeks for all I know. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. That's what I am hoping 2022 will look like, and we'll see what happens, I guess. So wish me luck, and I hope that you have had fun setting your goals and that you're excited for 2022. Enough of the Minnesota goodbye where I never stop talking. I'm gonna go now, but I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye!
It started